Hey Flutter developers, welcome back to Astrodevs channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can create this beautiful design for your application with Flutter. So as you can see, I have found this video online, so I have put the link to it down in the description below. So before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated for our future videos. As you guys could see, we need some pictures of some houses and a custom font. So I am using color font. By the way, the link to the font is already in the description down below, so you can go and download it from Google Fonts. And the assets is actually where I am storing my pictures. So we have 5 pictures from houses. You can put any pictures of any houses as you wish, or if you want to use the same pictures I am using, you can find these pictures in the GitHub link I have put in the description. So to use our images and fonts, we need to actually insert them in our popspec.yaml. So for inserting them, you can use this code which I'm gonna type. So you need to be in the Flutter block, and when you are here, just hit tab once and you can start typing. So we are adding our image and fonts in popspec.yaml like this. So we hit the button, so the Flutter pub get would be run, and we wait for it. Okay, it's already done, and save the files so we can actually get going. So I'm gonna use 2 windows like this, and so I'm not gonna type any codes in my main.dart, so I'm just gonna address my new widget through my main.dart file. So I'm gonna create a new file. I'm gonna call it welcome page .dart, and in here, first of all, we need to import the material package, and then we can create our state. I guess we need a stateless state because I don't see anything changing in here. So I'm just gonna actually create an stateless widget. If you have the, I guess this is Flutter snippet. So if you have it already installed, just by typing like that, you see that it is already suggesting the stateless widget for us. So give it a name. I'm gonna call it welcome page as we are calling the file. So now I can go here and address my welcome page to my material app. So now you can see it is already there, and we can actually get going. So in here we need a scaffold. So I'm just gonna now give it a body and put some text in it just to see if it is working properly. I'm using a text widget. I'm just calling it hello world just to see if it is working as I want. So I save my app, and yes, you can see the hello world is here. And as you can see, first of all, we need to remove this debug banner, and in the design we don't have the status bar. So for removing both of them, you need to actually, in your material app, to remove the debug banner, you just have to type debug show checkmark banner, and you just need to give it a false. So I save my code, and the debug banner is gone. And for removing your status bar, even though it is transparent, you have to go to your main method. And as you can see, I am calling widgets Flutter bonding ensure initialize. So actually in here, the name says it all. It just ensures that Flutter is binded, and we can actually start writing our code without any crashes. So what you need to type in here is to use your system Chrome, and you need to import your services package. Then you set enabled UI mode. Then you need to say the system UI mode dot manual. So right now, and you need to use a comma. Then you say overlays, which is a list of overlays. I can actually close this so you can see it better. And just put the semicolon there so the error is gone. And you need to say system UI overlay dot button. And if I save my code, actually I need to restart my application, and now you can see that everything is gone and we have a plain screen to just work with it. So I can close my main.dart and we can start working on our welcome page. And I actually can close the emulator for now. I zoom in on this picture a little bit so we can work on it a little better. So we start from this part, then we go down. So you can see that we need a picture of a house with our logo, and it has a rounded border radius, so we can actually create that. So as you can see, we need a column, so we can actually put our image first, then our text, then a button, then again the text. So for now, I'm gonna create a column here, and I need to call the children of it. Then we need, actually, we can use a stack widget, or you can have this picture ready to go from Photoshop or something, but I'm just going to be creating an image, then putting a text widget with an SVG or a logo or something up next to it. So I'm going to use a stack for our first child. So the stack first child is going to be an image.asset, because we're going to be calling our image from our asset file. So this is the way that you can actually display the image from the asset folder, and the path to our image would be assets image, and let's see what image we can be using. I guess the house underline 5 or maybe house 1. Yes, this is a better image, I guess, because we have this empty sky, so we can put our logo in it. So I'm going to be using the house underline 1. So house underline 1 .jpeg, actually it is, and what error we have, it says the constructor being called isn't a const. So you just need to remove this const from your scaffold. And I guess we need to be, okay, we check our application, the image is not there. Okay, it is loaded, and yes, as you can see, we have the actually plain sky to put our logo, and you can see some missing parts. The corners are not rounded, and the image is attached to its parent. So to fix that, we need to wrap our image, which by the way, you need to press ctrl dot if you're on Windows, or command dot if you're on a Mac, and you need to wrap with the widget. For creating some rounded corners for your image, you need to be using clip or rect image, which actually takes in a border radius. And for that, you need to be using your border radius widget, which you have two ways. One is to call the all method from it, then return a radius, circular. I guess 25 would be suitable for it. Let's save our picture and see, yeah, 25 is good, or maybe we can go higher. And you have another way to just keep the code simple. You can actually call the circular method from it, and then you can just type in the number you want it to be, and it is not a const, so you need to remove the const. And yes, as you can see, the corners are there, and 25 I guess is good, or maybe we can go up to 30. Yeah, 30 is much more like, it has an intense border radius in here, so we go with 30. And to create this actually empty space, you can actually wrap this with padding. So the 8, we can just use the 8, and 8 is good, I guess. Yes, 8 is good. Maybe we can go up to 10 just to have a little bit more space. Yeah, 10 is good as well. And the size of it, actually, I guess the size is good. We have, or maybe we can reduce the size a little bit. So in your image that asset, you can actually set in a specific height. So I'm not gonna use a height like this, because maybe 200 on some devices may vary. So one thing that I can do is just take the width and height of the device, which can be done like this: media query.of, you give it a context, and then .size.width, and then you can use the same thing for actually having the height of the device. So I'm just gonna give it a name of height, and then the media query.of context .size.height. So right now I can say I need the height, but how much I need from it? I need, for example, let's say 0.2. Let's check how it is. Okay, it's so okay, one thing that there is, we can actually see that it is a little bit longer than the half of the screen. So I can go, for example, with 0.55, which is a little bit taller than the half of the screen. And then you can actually set the fit for it. You can use the fit, and then the box fit. I guess we need to say fit width. And let's see how it is. Don't forget the comma. And because it doesn't have any width, we need to actually specify the width for it. I can just use the width, which is the width of the screen, so it would be attaching to the screen size. Yes, and as you can see, the image is there, and I guess this is pretty much done. We can actually reduce this a little bit. We can go back to the 55. Yeah, 55 may be good. And now the image is done. We need to actually add the logo and the name of the application next to it. So for that, we need to actually go outside from our padding, and we need a positioned widget. So the position widget actually lets you to stack two widgets on top of each other if you are actually inside a stack widget. So for that, we need a row, or maybe if the logo is a PNG or an SVG, you can just directly import it. But I'm just going to be using a row, so we have the logo and then the text next to it. So for this one, we need to say the children are an image, let's say. So I'm just going to use an icon widget. So I just can say icons that, let's say, a house, if there is any. And let's see how it looks. Yeah, this house is good. I just need to change the color. I can say colors.white. Let's see how that is. Yeah, it's not showing up because it's in the empty space, but it's okay. But to bring it to the center, you just have to assign the same value for the left and the right of it. So both of them would be 30. And yeah, you need to change some settings for a row. So we just have to say the main axis alignment is equal to main axis alignment dot center. And yes, as you can see, the icon or the logo is in the center, and right next to it we need a text. So before adding the text, I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger, so I can just say size is equal to 30, or maybe I can go up to 45 or something. Let's just check it. Yeah, 45, maybe 40. Yes, this is the best choice we can have. And right next to it we need a text, and the text is, we're just gonna say so house, and I need to change its color, so I just have to say style is equal to text style, and the color is gonna be equal to colors.white. And yes, as you can see, the color is changed. I need to make it a little bit bigger. You can just say the font size is equal, for example, to 20. Yeah, 20 is good. And I have forgot to change our font, so we can just go back to our main.dart. We can come here and we can have a theme. So on the theme, we need to say the theme data is equal to, let's say, font family is color, and you need to make sure that the name you're using here is the same name that you're referring to from your material app. And the error we have is saying that actually the constructor is not a const, so you have to remove the const from here. And if I save my application, we can see the font has changed. So we go back to our welcome page, and yes, this part is done, but we need a little bit of space between our logo and the text. So just to create that, you need to use size box, and you need to give it a width. For example, I can say 10 is enough for the space we need, and maybe a little bit less. So for example, 5. Yeah, 5 is a better choice. Okay, we are done with our stack and the image and this part, so we can move on. So let's just go out from a stack widget and bring in these text and the button. Okay, we need a text widget before all, and the text says discover dream house from smartphone. Okay, I save this to just check how it looks. Yeah, the text is there, but we need again a bit space here, so I just can use the size box again. And for the size box, I can say the height. I want the height to be something like 2 maybe. No, 2 is a lot, so maybe 1, 0.1, maybe 0.05. Yeah, I guess that is better. And right now I just need to make the text to be bold, and to do that I just can use the style and the text style. So I just can say the font weight, I want it to be font weight dot bold, maybe gonna do the job. Yeah, dot bold is good. Or maybe I can use actually the weights as well. I can say W700 and you can see it is doing the same thing for me. And I just need to make it a bit bigger again, so I can just use this font size again and maybe 40 for here. A bit less, 30. Yeah, 30 is good. As I can see, yeah, 30 is good. So maybe I could have used a font with more weight, like W900 or 800. But I'm just gonna go with W700 and I guess it is good. So I can use the text align and the text align and I can say center. So the text is looking like that. But as you can see, the text is not actually attached to the sides, so we need a little bit of white space over here. So to create that, we can actually wrap our text with the padding, maybe 8. We just have to check if it is good. We can go for a little bit more, so maybe 10 again is good. So maybe not all. I can use symmetric and I can say horizontal, and the horizontal is going to be 10, so it is just applied to the sides, not the bottom and the top. Okay, it is good, and as you can see, the text is actually looking like how it should. So we have some typos here, so it looks the same. So right now I can just copy the text widget to use it once again and maybe copy the whole padding and come outside and put it again, and the text is there, but the text should be different, so I have to remove it and I just make it bigger so we can see what it says. It says the #1 app for searching and finding the most suitable house with you. The most, we have some typos, finding and searching. Okay, we can actually make it a bit smaller, so let's say like 15 or 18 maybe. Yeah, 18 is good, or even we can go with 16. Yeah, 16 is good, and we can actually make the padding a bit bigger. So 30, maybe let's say 40. Or maybe 15, it didn't change anything. Yeah, 15 is good, yes. So for the color, as you can see, it has a bit like a grayish color. So just to do that, I'm gonna be using the color and I'm gonna go to the colors dot black, and I'm gonna be using, for example, black 12. Maybe a bit darker, so let's say black, if we have anything like 45. Yeah, black 45 is good for that. So, and again, we need a bit of space here, so I'm just gonna copy the same size box, and instead of 0.05, maybe 0.02 or maybe 1. And yes, this is fine. And actually we can reduce the size here a bit more, so for example, let's say 4, maybe even 3, I don't know. Yeah, let's go with 35. Yes, that is good. And what next we have a button. So to create our button, we can actually use a container. Yes, the container, and we need a decoration box, and we need a box decoration. And for the color, let's just go with the colors.black. Okay, nothing is shown because there's nothing inside the container. So let's just give it a child, which is gonna be a center widget. And inside the center widget, we're gonna have a text as a child to just say register. And let's just save it. And yes, there it is, our container. We need to change the style of the text, so the text would be shown. So we need to say the text style, and the color is going to be equal to the colors.white. Yes, the text is there. We need to make the text a little bit bigger. So let's say font size is equal to 15. Maybe bigger, maybe let's say 20. If not, okay, 20 is good. And we need some margins from the sides, so we can use edge insets dot symmetric again and horizontal, and we can use the width, which is the width of the screen, and we can say times 0.1, maybe let's say 15. Okay, we can go for 20, or so maybe 2 is good, because I can see the button is actually a bit larger than the text. So you can see here it is actually yes. So this is good. And we need some paddings as well, because you can see that there is some space here around the text, so we can use padding. Not all, we need to use the symmetric again. We can say the vertical can be 10, just to check it. Yeah, vertical can be 10 and the horizontal can be 20, the double amount. If we even didn't put the horizontal, maybe it was good. Yeah, nothing has changed. So because we are using the center widget, so we don't need to actually use that horizontal factor over there. Okay, we need a bit space again, so I can just copy the size box from here just to save some time and bring it here. Let's see how that does. Okay, maybe we can go up to 3 or maybe 2. Okay, maybe 4 even, because you can see that the distance here is actually a bit larger than the distance we have over there. So maybe even we can go with 5. Yeah, 5 is good. And we need to actually give it a rounded corners. So inside the decoration, alongside with the color, you can just type in the border radius. And again, you have the same approach as I have showed you before. So I'm just going to go with the circular, and let's say maybe like 15, and the const should be removed. And yes, that is fine. Maybe make the text, or I guess if we make the vertical padding a bit bigger, yes, now that looks better. Okay, so what else we need to do? Maybe reduce it to be 0.045. Yes, that is fine. And we need to add the text. Okay, to have the text like that, we know that this login should be clickable, and we actually gonna make the container to be clickable. But first we need to actually understand this part. So this text and this text are actually two separated widgets. So because they have two separated styles, this one over here is clickable. So for that, we go outside of the container. I need a bit space again, so maybe I can use this size box over here. We can actually change it later. So we need a row, and the children are gonna be two texts. The text says already have an account with a question mark, and if we save it, you can see that it is here. So once again, like that, we need to actually use a brighter color. So we can use the text style and say the color would be equal to colors.black.38 maybe, or maybe even that 45 was good. So let's go for 45. And yes, didn't have any specific changes, but that is good. So just have to make it a little bit bigger. Font size 16, let's see how that does. Yeah, font size 16 is good. We need to make sure that it is in the center, so we can just say main axis alignment is equal to main axis alignment center. And yes, that is in the center. We can actually increase this a little bit. We can go for 0.02 or maybe 0.025. Yes, that is good. And to just have a clickable text, you can use text button, which actually takes in an onClick method. I'm just gonna leave it in empty. And as for the text, you need to give it a text widget. And the text widget, actually let's remove the const because we are using an empty method over here. And so for the text, you can just say log in, and we need to change the style. It actually, I guess, needs to be bold. So let's say text style is equal to color is black, and the font weight is actually font weight dot bold. And yes, that is there. Change the font size to be 16 as well. Yes, and as you can see, the distance is already there, and this is clickable. Okay, so let's go back to where we left off. We said that we need to make the container, this container, to be clickable. Alright, so to do that, you just have to wrap this container with a widget, and that widget is called gesture detector. So gesture detector actually lets you to handle a widget when it is clicked. Alright, so we want to write a function for when our container, which is our register button, clicked. We want to write a function for it. Alright, so let us say we want to navigate to another page, to another widget, let's say. Alright, we can use navigator dot push. Alright, and then it needs a context, then it needs a router. So our router is material page route, and inside we need a builder. So let me come over here, and again we need the context. Alright, and now we want to create our homepage file in the lib folder. So homepage.dart, and first off we need to import the material package. Then let me see, I guess stateless widget for here is enough as well, as we did for welcome page, because I don't see any state management needed in here, and we are just doing the design, so the stateless widget actually is enough for us. Alright, stateless, and call it as homepage, and let's go to the welcome page and address our homepage in here. It can be a constant because there is no value that we are passing to our homepage, and the homepage is a constant by default. Alright, so now we're done with the welcome page, and let's get going with the homepage file. Alright, so let me hot reload my application and click on the register button. As you see, it takes us to the homepage, which for now is just an empty container. Alright, so let's see. For the home page as well, we need a column, but before the column, as you can see, we have a different background color in here, and behind it we have a white color background. So let's just put scaffold in here. So the scaffold's background color by default is white if you haven't changed your theme data, and then we can actually place a container inside and color our container. Alright, but besides coloring, actually we need to make a border radius for it, as you can see here. So we also have the border radius, and we need to change the color of the background. Alright, so as you saw in the previous video, we can use the decoration and pass in a box decoration to it, and then inside the box decoration we can say color, and let's go for colors that gray, and maybe a brighter shade, for example 200, because the gray itself is a bit dark, so we need maybe 200. Let's see, yeah, this color is good. And after that we need to set the border radius for it. Alright, border radius and dot circular, and let's say 30. And yeah, right now we actually have it. And also we need a bit of a distance in here from sides and top and bottom. Alright, so we can actually pass in a margin value for our container. So let's say edge insets dot all, and let's say 10 for example. Alright, yeah, as you can see in here, now let me make this a bit bigger so you can see it more better. Yeah, as you can see in here, we do have the background color, which is gray, and behind it we have the white background color, which is coming from the scaffold, and then we have a bit of distance from container to the scaffold. Alright, and after that, as we said, we need a column, so then we can put everything inside that column, and we can actually put our widgets inside. Alright, so let's define the child for the container, and the child is going to be a column, and the column would have children. And for our first child of the column, we actually need a row. So inside the row, we need two containers, one here and one down the right side, to actually put the icons inside. And then we need to have another column as the second child of that row. So inside that column, first we're gonna put a text widget, then as the second child we need to have a row because we have an icon, and then next to it we have a text widget. Alright, let me show you how we want it to be done. Alright, first out we need to use a container. So our container needs to have, I think you can do it in two ways. One being you can actually set a shadow for it, or maybe you can actually set a border stroke for it. Alright, we want to take the second way and actually set a border stroke. Alright, so let's say decoration and then box decoration. Alright, and then let's say border and border.all, and then declare a color, which is going to be, for example, let's say colors.black 38 or maybe 26. Yep. And then a width, I think width is by default 1, but I'm just going to set it to be sure. Alright, and we also need to have a border radius. By the way, the AI actually suggests in the code is Codium AI, which you can see it over here. So if you want to have these suggestions, you can use the Codium AI while you're coding. Alright, so I don't want it to be 30, maybe 10 is enough for us right now. And we do see something over here, but it is not the container we need. Actually, I forgot. We need to actually set a row, so then we can actually put the container inside it. And then we need to declare that we want our main axis alignment to be main axis alignment space between, so we have a even spacing between the items and the children inside of the column. Inside of the row. Alright, so and next we need to put an icon inside the container. Alright, let's say child is an icon, which is going to be, for example, icons menu, I guess. Menu. Yep. And let's see how it is. And yeah, there it is, our icon. Maybe let's not actually change it. It is enough, and the color is the same. It has to be black. But we need a bit of padding for our container. So padding is going to be edge insets.all, and maybe let's go with 5. Yeah, or maybe even 8. A bit intense. Yeah, that is good. Or maybe less, or maybe more, but I like that. And one more thing we actually need a space between the row and the top side of our device. So how can we do it? First of all, let us do what we did in the previous video. So let's go and set the width and the height and get them from the device. So media query.context.size.width, and the height is going to be the same as well. And let me put a size box before our row. So the first child is going to be a size box. And let's give it a height, and let's say height is, for example, height times maybe 0.02, or let's say, yeah, we can go a bit higher, for example 6. How that is, yeah, 6 is good, or maybe let's say 65. Yeah, that's a bit better. Alright, and after that we need to actually put a padding for our container, for our main container, which is a parent to all of this widget which we are going to put. So as you can see, they all have a same space from sides and let's say horizontally. So we can actually do it for parent container. Let's see, padding, edge, symmetric, and we don't need the vertical one. We can actually keep the horizontal one 20. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, 20 seems to be fair enough. Alright, and now let's go for our second child. But before that, we can actually make the color of the border to be a bit brighter. So let's go, for example, with black 12, and yeah, 12 is more better. Alright, So for second child in the row, we can use a column. So column and children, and the first child is going to be a text widget, and the text should say, let me see, current location. All right, current location, and then we need to actually give it a style, which is going to be a text style widget, and then inside we need to declare the font size. For example, 14 I guess is good, and then a font color. I'm sorry, a color, not a font color. And then we can use, for example, colors that black 38. Let's see, 38. I mean, yeah, that looks good, and the size is good as well. All right, and let me do a bit of formatting here, so we have a better look at our code. All right, and now for the second child inside the column, we use a row, and the first child of the row is going to be an icon widget, and inside we can use icons. That location on, I guess, is the icon we need, location on, and then we can change its color. So colors need to be colors that blue and with a darker shade than normal, for example 700. Let's see, invalid constant value, so you need to remove the const over there. And yeah, that color actually seems legit. All right, but maybe make it a bit smaller. So let's say size, I want my text to be 16, so we can actually set the icon to be 16 as well. Yeah, that looks good. And then I can just copy the text widget over here and put it right next to my icon, and let's see. Yeah, that place looks good, but we need to change the text. So the text should say, for example, the location Melbourne, Australia. Alright, so it is Melbourne, Australia. And so we need to actually make it to be a bit bigger size wise and make it to be bold. For example, I guess we can actually give it a font weight of 500. I don't know, let's see. So font weight W500. Yeah, and change its color, so it has to be pure black. And yeah, maybe we can actually go with the bolder font, but I like that, so I don't want to change it. And next thing we need to do is, by default the column, I guess, are as in the center. The items inside the column are in the centers, but I want to make sure, so I'm gonna say main axis alignment center, and we can actually place a size box to actually have a nice space between the two widgets we have. All right, so let's say height is going to be, for example, 10, and maybe 10 is a lot, so let's say 5. Yeah, 5 looks good as well. All right, we can leave it like that. And then let's go to the last child, and it's going to be the same container as we used there. So let me see, we can actually place it after the column. And if I set it, yeah, as you can see, because we set the main axis alignment, that space between, so as you can see, they are all evenly spaced, and there's an even spacing between them. And one thing that we need to do is to just change the icon. So as we are not using the same icon pack, I'm just gonna use a similar icon. For example, icon.tune looks kind of the same, but if you found the same icon pack, you can actually implement them into your application. All right, and after that we need to create the search box. So let's just do it, and we can go outside of our row, and we can use a container, and inside the container, but before giving the widgets, let's just decorate it a bit. So box decoration, we need to have a white background color and some border radiuses over there. All right, so let's say colors.white, and then we need the border radius. So border radius dot circular, and 10 as well for here, I guess is good. And so this is the code, and we don't see it over there because we don't have anything inside it. And let's give it some child. The child is going to be a row, so the first child of the row is going to be the search icon, and then the text field form for the user to input whatever they want and search for it. Alright, so let's set the row, And then the children, the first one, as we said, is going to be an icon widget. So let's go through the icons and search. I guess it should be. And then let's change the color a bit, because it needs to have a brighter color. So colors.black and 26. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe we can go a bit darker. So let's say 38. Yeah, 38 is good. And we need to have some paddings. I guess it is equal padding from horizontally and vertically, so we can do that as well. So let's say padding is equal to edge insets dot all, and let's say 10. Yeah, maybe we can actually increase the size of the icon. So let's say size is equal to 18. Oh no, that's so small. So let's say 20. Alright, let's go for 25. 28 might be the best. Yeah, 28 is good, and the spacing is good. I like that. And let's just use a size box so we can have the distance in here as well. So size box, and let's say height is equal to height equal. We can use maybe 1 is a lot. I don't know. Let's check it. Yeah, 1 is a lot. Alright. So let's change it to, for example, 0.05, and maybe we can go 0.04. Yeah, 0.04 is good. And now we need to add that text form field. So after the icon widget, let me format the code a bit. Alright, after the icon widget, we can use the text form field, and inside we can set the decoration to be input decoration, and let's give it a hint text. So the text is gonna be, let's see what it says, search for dream home. Alright, search for dream home. Alright, and then after that we need to change the color. I guess the two colors, maybe this one is a bit brighter, so let's just do that. Let's just say hint style is equal to the text style widget, and let's say the color is going to be colors.black and maybe 26, because we used 38 over here. Alright, and it shouldn't be a constant. Alright, let's remove the const and let's save it, and let's. Alright, we got the error. This error can be actually fixed if you wrap your text form field with expanded while you're inside a row. So that is gonna do the spacing job for you. You know, giving it a height. Yeah, you cannot just leave it like that. If you give it, if you wrap it with an expanded widget while you're in a row, the widget is gonna be spaced logically and good. You know, there's actually several ways that you can give it a space. You can wrap it with a size box and give it a fixed width, or maybe some other ways. But for now, the expanded widget actually does it for us and fixes the error. Alright, let's restart the application and let me close this file. Alright, it should start from the first page. Yep, the image is loaded. Alright, register. I click it and we are here. Alright, we have it, but we don't need this bottom line. So just to remove that, you can just set collapsed. So input decoration dot collapsed, and the bottom line is gone. And let me just format the code a bit. Alright, so maybe we can have a bit of spacing over here. So let's just set a let's say size box. Yep, with a width. Maybe that's a lot. No, it's good actually. Yeah, it's good. The AI actually does work. Alright, now let's see. We can actually use the same size box as we use over here. So let's see, size box. Yep, this is the one. And after the container, let's set that. And for our image banner over here, this is actually, for example, we can call it as a CTA, a call to action, or maybe something else. But this can be done in Photoshop. Alright, you don't need to code this. These are usually done in Photoshop. You know, the image is edited and you just get the image from your server or locally and just load it up in here. But I'm just gonna go and create something like this with pure codes, and just to show you guys how you can do it. Maybe you learn something from it. Alright, so just to do that, I'm just gonna set a container over here and pass an image as its background and just set some text on the top of that. All right, so let's set our container and let's give it a decoration using box decoration. All right, and let's have some border radius because you can see that we have that. All right, I guess 10 is good as well, so circular 10. And all right, so to set an image as background for a container, you can set you can use the image value, and then you can use the decoration image widget. Then inside you can, again, you need to use the image and then set the asset image because we are going to use our asset as our image source. All right, so let's see, assets image house underline 1, maybe we can use house underline 5 underscore or underline, which one you call it. All right, and all right, so fit width, I don't know if that is good, but let's see. Okay, nothing is shown, but before that we need to give it a height and width because, as I said, this is a banner. All right, so it needs to have a fixed width and height. There's no dynamic data inside, so we can have a fixed width and height. All right, so the width is going to be actually the width of the screen and with the padding applied to it, and the height, maybe height, no, this is a lot, so we can use, for example, 25 or maybe even 15. Let's see how it is. So let me open up. Okay, yeah, that looks, I mean, yeah, that looks good compared to other widgets we need to put inside. Yeah, that looks good, I guess. Yeah, that is enough. All right, and then after that, so we can just basically say, all right, we need to put some text on top of it, so we can use the child, and then let's say the column widget, column. All right, and then children of the column, 2 of them are going to be text widgets. Yep, so the first one says get your 10%. We need to go new line, cashback, and okay, and we need to change the color. So let's say style is equal to text style, then color is equal to colors.white. All right, white. By the way, guys, do you know how to close these suggestions which pop up? I don't know, and I just didn't look after it, but if anybody knows, just please let me know in the comments. I don't know how to close them. They're just all over the place and I can't see what I'm writing here. All right, so, and after that, let me just hot reload my code and see. Yep, we've done it, but maybe we can use we can actually set the font weight to be bold. All right, so font weight bold, and let me format the code, and yeah, that is bold, and we can make it a bit bigger, so font size is gonna be equal, for example, 25. Yeah, 25 seems legit. And just one thing, you need to set them cross-axis alignment. Yep, to be cross-axis alignment dot start, so it starts from here. Yep, as that. And we can actually put some paddings for the container. So padding all 10, I don't know. Yeah, that looks good. And then we need another text right below it. So maybe before that, let's put a size box so we have a nice space between them. So height 10 or maybe 5 even. And let's paste our text widget which we copied from here. And this one should say, let's see. For example, let's not use the sentence over here. Let's say, for example, expires in 30 days. I don't know. Yep. And we should decrease the font weight to, for example, be 15. Yeah, 15 is good and it is readable. And I know that doesn't look as good as this does over here, but as I said, I just wanted to show you if you wanted to have something like that, so you just can, you know, simply make it. All right. And yeah, I just took a screenshot over there by mistake. All right. So let's format the code and let's grab it to be over here, and let's go to these cards. All right, for these cards, so you can actually, you first need to, this is the best way you can do it. All right, first you need to create the widget or the component for the cards, or you can call it as house cards or, I don't know, offer cards, something. Give it any name you want, and then use it as many times as you want. All right, but in here I'm just going to create it once, and just to show you guys how you can create one of these cards, and just leave it over here, leave it in my plain widget. But this is not a good practice for you. All right, so just always be sure that you create a component for them and just use them as many times as you want. All right, so I thought maybe the best way to do it is first to have a container as the parent, and then inside that container we can have a column to actually put our widgets inside. Then for the first child of that column, we can have stack widget. So stack widget, as we talked about it over here, it lets you to put two widgets on the top of each other, or put a widget on the top of another widget. All right, so you can stack widgets on top of each other. So for the first child, as I said, it's going to be stack and an image and a container on the top, so we can show the text. And then after the column, or I'm sorry, after the stack in the column, we can have a row, so we can show other details about the house. All right, so let's just create it. And as I said, we need a container. So container, then we need a margin before all of that, because you can see the spacing they have from top. So we say edge insets dot only top, and let's say for example height times 0.03 maybe. Yeah, we don't see it yet, but it's all right. And after that we need to declare the width for it, so it needs to be the width of the screen. All right, and yeah, let's now put the column as its child. So column, and the children of that column, first child is going to be a stack widget, and we need to have the children in here. And then let's say the image is going to be, let's set that as image assets, and assets image house underscore, for example 4.jpg, or and all right, yeah, I messed up the naming, it should be jpg. And let's restart the application. All right, so we have the image in here, and I should wrap my widget, my image widget with a clip object, so I can actually pass a border radius for my widget. So let's say border radius is equal to border radius and circular, and let's say for example 10. And yeah, 10 is good. And let me format the code so we can see what we're dealing with. And yep, all right, maybe we can actually wrap this inside the size box, so we can actually declare the height of it. So height is going to be, for example, let's say 200. All right, and we should say that I want it to be fit, and fit box fit dot width fit width. Yep, and I should have put a comma in here. And okay, nothing changed. Let's see. All right, so I have to declare the width for this as well. So yep, now it is good. Or maybe a less larger height, for example 115, or maybe 180. Yeah, 180, or even that 200 was good, but let's see, 190. Yeah, 119 is good. And all right, now let's use the positioned widget. So positioned widget, and then the child is going to be a container with a decoration. So for the decoration we can use the box decoration, and then the color should be a white color, colors.white. And then we can have the border radius. So the border radius actually is a bit less than what we have set over here. For example, as we set here to be 10, we can actually set this to be 6 or 8. All right, and let me format the code as well. All right, and as the child we can set a text widget, or maybe not a text widget, because you can see that we have one text over here, but it is actually a two-part text. So the first part is with bold and with a darker color, and the second part is actually less bold and with a brighter color. All right, so to have that in Flutter we can use a rich text widget. So the first text is going to be a text span, can use a text span over here, and you can say, for example, $$. So you can actually type the $sign inside, and what it says 1199, and yep, that is that. But we forgot to set the text in here, so you should say what this is. It's not like a text widget, but you can have the text style, and for that you should say the style, text style, and the color is going to be colors.black, which is by default, but I just wanted to be sure. And the font size, let's say for example 16, and the font weight, maybe let's say font weight bold, and let me format the code as well, and let's see, yeah, there it is. Yeah, bold is good, and let me to actually bring it a bit. Alright, so to have some distance for the position item, you can actually set them by saying top, right, and left and bottom, but for now we only want the top and I guess the left. Okay, maybe we can actually have a bit more distance, for example 15. Yeah, 15 from top and 15 from left, I guess does the job. Yeah, so that is how you can play around with the position item inside the stack widget. So you can actually declare the top, left, bottom, and right for it to have some distances. And yeah, that is enough for now, but we can actually have a padding for this. So for example, let's say padding and edge insets that's symmetric. And for example, horizontally I wanted to have 10, and vertically I wanted to have, for example, let's say 15. Or maybe that's a lot. Yeah, 15 is a lot. So for example, let's say 10 as well. Alright, maybe less, maybe let's say 5. Yeah, or maybe let's go with 8. Yeah, alright. So, and to actually have this /months over here, you can go inside the text span and set, actually not inside the style, inside the text span itself, and set the children, and set another text span, and we want to write inside /month, and give it okay, I forgot to put the text in here, and give it a style, or the style, text style, color equal colors dot, let's say black, maybe 26, and the font size is going to be the same, so font size 16 as well. Format the code, and yeah, that is there, but maybe with a black, with a darker color. So for example 38. Yeah, 38, and we have something like this over here, and yep, this looks good. Actually, this is looking good. Okay, so we have the first part of the card, and let's now create the details section. Alright, so for that we need to be inside the column, but we forgot actually to use the column, so let me wrap the whole thing with the column. And oh no, yeah, we are in the wrong part. Okay, so we are here, this is our stack, this is our column widget. Okay, so we need to go outside of the stack and then put our row. Okay, I'm getting old a bit, I'm forgetting what I was doing. Okay, so the children, and the first part is going to be another column, and so the first child of the column is going to be a bold text. Okay, I forgot to set the children, and then let's set text, and then for the text widget, so let me see. Okay, the error is gone, and let me format the code again. Alright, so the text is saying, for example, white space house with style, so text style is colors.black, and then the font weight is going to be font weight.bold. Alright, and the font size, maybe we can go, for example, up to 20 or something like that. So font size 20, and format the code. And does this actually look good? I don't know, maybe we can actually make this bigger. So let me change that. I actually noticed something over there. So for example, let's say 18 for both of them, and 18 over there, 18 over here, and Yeah, now that is much better. And for this over here, maybe we can actually go up to 24, 25. Yeah, 24 is a bit better. Or maybe 22. Yeah, 22. Alright. Yeah, 22 is the best, I guess. Alright. So, and we need a bit of spacing between these two. So we can actually set another size box and set the height to be, for example, let's say 10. Yeah, 10 is actually good. And we need to have a row after the text widget, because as you can see, we have the same thing going on over here as it is over here. So we have an icon and then the location. So let's use that row, children, and the first child is going to be an icon widget. So icons.location on, as we said, location on, and then the color is going to be for example, maybe we can use a gray color, maybe we can use some black, bright black color. So for example, black 12. Yeah, alright, maybe we need to use a location. Let's see if we have on, but it needs to be, yeah, outline. Alright, yep, and we need to set the row main axis alignment. No, the cross. Oh yeah, the main axis alignment to be main axis alignment start. Alright, it is, but we need to change that. So let's say main or cross axis alignment start. Alright, now it goes there, and we need to set another text widget for it. So let's say Melbourne Australia. Alright, and the style for it is going to be a text style, and color is equal to colors.black. What did we use over there? Maybe we can actually make this a bit darker. So for example, let's say go with 38 and 38 for here as well, black 38, and let's see. That is good. And let's make this to be a bit bigger. So let's say font size is equal to 18. Yep, that is good. And I guess the spacing and all of that is okay over here, but let's give it the size of 18 as well, so it's the same as it is over here. Alright, and now let's create this part over here. Actually, we actually had something close to it as we used over there, so let's just not spend time for that. Let's just use one of these over there, one of these containers. We just actually need to make the shape to be a circle, and then the rest is easy. Alright, so outside of our row and outside of the column, inside the main row, which we put over there, the constructor is on the const, so let's just remove that. Alright, and I don't know, if I found the settings, I would share it for you in the description down below, but I have set the settings so whenever I save my file, all of these suggestions are applied. So as you can see, if I save my file, you can see all the cons and all the necessary changes are applied. So if I found the settings which I have changed, I would share it with you in the description down below. And don't forget to tell me how to actually remove these pop-ups which actually come out when you're typing codes, and some suggestions, and they're like documentations, I know, but how to turn them off, because those are really distracting me. Okay. Yeah, we have it over here, but we forgot to put, I want to actually have a row but with the main axis alignment of space between. We actually saw what it does. It pushes out whatever it is there, so, and actually set space in between them. So we need to change the shape of the container to be like a circle. So how we can do it is to actually declare the shape to be, so for example, let's say box shaped circle. And alright, yeah, when you are using the shape, you have to remove the border radius. So let me restart the application and let's see how that is doing. And let's open the application, and here you can see we have the oval shape over there. And let's just change the icon to be, for example, let's say arrow. If we have something like that, arrow, it needs to be not arrow back, but for example, arrow circle down. Let's see, I don't guess that we can have something like that, but there's a way of doing it. So for example, let's say downward, and here, like that, and we have it. And you can do something in here to actually get the same shape as we have over there. And that is to wrap your icon widget with another widget, which is called transform. And transform.rotate, yep. And you can actually rotate your widget that you have, and you need to import the pi from .math package. And let's see if that actually does it. All right, it is. Maybe it should be the opposite. So for example, yep. And as you can see, we have the same looking arrow over here as we have over there. All right, that is super good. And you saw how to create one of these cards. So you just have to make a widget for the whole part as we have over here, and you need to pass variable instead of fixed data. So you just can have to call your widget and use it whenever you want and as many times as you want. Alright, so that this part is done, and I'm not just gonna go and create some other containers. You just saw how to make one. Let's put our time and create one of these bottom navigation bars. Alright, so let me close the files over here and let us go and create another file. You can actually create a folder for them and call them widgets and put whatever widgets or components you have inside. But you know, I just wanted to put my bottom nav bar inside, so the dot, and that is not a good way to name your files. Let me just rename them. So don't use capital letters inside it. So let's call it bottom nav bar. Alright, nav bar. And yep, inside we're gonna have an import to import our material package. Let me zoom in. And for your bottom navigation bar, you should use a stateful widget because the states are going to change whenever you navigate through other pages. But for now, I'm just going to use a stateless widget just to show you how you can design something like this into your application. And let's call it bottom navbar. Navbar custom, just have a custom name. Alright, and the container is good and there. Alright, so we can actually have let me take in the width and the height. Maybe the width is enough, but let us have the height as well. Alright, so final height is equal to media query context.size.height, and that's decorated. So box decoration, and then the color is going to be colors.black, and we need to actually give it a shape of box shape. Rectangle, or maybe let's not use the shapes, let's use border radiuses from start, and border radius, let's go to something dense. So for example, border radius circular 300, let's say. Okay, and now we have the container to put our icons inside. We can actually have a row for it, so row widget, yep, and set the children. So each child is going to be an expanded widget, so all of them would have the same height and width. Actually, the important thing in a row is the width, so I want the width to be all the same, and the child is going to be an icon. So for example, let's say icons.home, and yeah, that's it. And let's create 4 more of these expanded widgets. Okay, and the next one, for example, I guess grid view or something like that is the equal of grid view. For example, let's say outlined. Rounded is good, but you know, outlined just because we don't want it to be filled with the color. Okay, and grid view outline, and for the next one we can actually use something like favorite icon, which is a heart, but I want it to be bordered. Alright, and then we have a profile picture, but I just wanted to use icons as well over there. So for example, we can say profile file. I don't think that they're going to be a user. We get account, should be account box, account circle, outline. All right, and let's save them all, and let's actually give it some margins from sides, because you can see that it has some margins. All right, some margins, edge insets dot symmetric, horizontal, and width, for example, times 5. All right, and the width of this one over here is going to be the width of the screen, but with the margins applied. All right, we can go to our home page, and whenever you have a custom navigation bar like this, which has a bit of spacing from the bottom, you cannot just set it as the bottom navigation bar for your scaffold, because you can do it as well. You can have your bottom navigation bar and set it, so what we call it is bottom, all right, bottom nav bar custom, I guess. Yeah, bottom nav bar custom. So let's see how it looks. So you can see that it's not looking good, and it is actually pushing up the other widgets, but we don't want that. We want the other widgets behind it to go actually behind it. You can see they're all actually behind it, so we cannot just use that. What we have to do is to wrap the whole container we had over here and use another stack widget. So let's just wrap it. You should actually wrap it first with a column and then change it to be stack, because the stack and the row and the column, they all take children, not a child. All right, and after that, because we want it to come on the top of the container, you should go at the very bottom of your container inside the stack widget and place your positioned widget, I'm sorry, and call your bottom navbar custom. Let's see how it is now. All right, it is up there, but we should take it down, which we can use. If you set the bottom distance to be 0, it actually goes to your bottom. Okay, and after that, you should declare that you want to have the same distance from the right, which is a 0, and from left, which is again a 0, and it actually stays there. We can actually give the widget itself a bit of more margin, or maybe that is good. Yeah, I guess that's good, but I should have declared the height over here. So we can say height is equal to height, for example, times 0.2 or 1. All right, 1 is good actually. Yeah, 1 is enough, but the icons are not there because the icons the default color is black, so we should change them to be white. All right, white in here, and one white over here. All right, now they're there. And if you guys want to see a working navbar and routing for your application, just let me know in the comments. In here, I'm just gonna put time into how design an application like that, so we're not just gonna waste time. Not wasting, I'm just not gonna spend time on showing you how to create a router for your application and route your application with the bottom navigation bar. So I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna show you how we can create something like this UI for your application. But if you want to see how to create a router for your application, just let me know in the comments below. All right, and yeah, I think we are done, but we can actually have a bit of more distance from bottom. So for example, let's say bottom 10 or maybe 20 or even 30. Yeah, 30, that looks good. And as I said, items behind it go actually behind it. So for example, if I set it to 15, or maybe let's say something in 10, so for example 300, sorry, you can see that everything goes behind it. Okay, so we can be sure if we had more cards inside, those all would go just behind it and scroll off. Okay, so as you can see, we kind of can have an image slider at the top. Then we need a row of items, which is a kind of a similar things we did over here. Even we have the price tag and everything. And then as you can see, these are the indicators for the sliders. And then we need a kind of a similar details for it, the house's name and the location of it. And we need some badges after the title. So as you can see, these are the details badges, for example 3 beds, 2 baths, and so on. And we need a detail spot, which is a kind of a long, kind of a paragraph about the house and the details inside. And then we need a mail button and a book now. Alright, so this is a pretty simple design and we can just finish it in a short time. So we need to make one of these containers, if you remember, the main container, which is wrapping around the whole thing. We need to make this clickable. So if you have watched the previous video, the things you need to do is wrap it with a widget. Then the widget is called gesture detector. And then inside the gesture detector, you have something called as onTap. So you can pass and inside you need to set a navigator, which is .push, and you need the context first, so context, and then you need to use material page route, so material page route, which is over here, and then you need the builder, and the builder itself needs another context. So let me close this, and we need to put the semicolon and the context, and then you need to pass the widget you want to navigate to. Alright, so let's just go and create the widget for it. So inside our lib folder, I create a new file. We can call it as house showcase page, or let's say just house showcase page dot, and let's go inside, import the material package first. Then we are able to create a stateless widget for now, and let's call it as house showcase. Alright, showcase page. I know the name can be a bit long and can be a bit distracting, but I just don't want to spend time on what name we should give it. Just set a name and go on with it. Alright, right here I can just say house showcase page, and then we are good to go. And maybe I can format my code so you can see it better. And so here is what we did. We use navigator.push, and then we pass the context, and then we use material page route, and then using the builder and then passing another context to it, we can actually navigate to another widget. Alright, so let's just save our code, and let me bring up the emulator. So this is here, this is our first page. Let's navigate to the home page. So this is our home page. We wait for the image to load. You can see that we have one card over here. You can add as many cards as you want, but wherever I click over here, I can click on this because we wrapped the whole container with the gesture detector. So no matter where you click, you can actually specify. We can just come around and wrap this widget with a gesture detector, but I mean, let the user to click wherever they want. Alright, and let me close all of this, and let's go to the house showcase page. Alright, as you can see, we just have an empty container over here, and let us see what we need for here. Alright, so we can just start by, let me close the emulator. Alright, we can just set a scaffold for it first, and then we need the body, and then inside the body, you can use actually one of the image sliders, one of the actually many image slider packages for Flutter over here, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video because setting them up can be a bit time taking. So I'm just going to show you how you can create the UI, and then you can just replace what I put over here with your image slider package. If you want to see how we can set up an image slider, just let me know in the comments. I can just create that as a quick video for you. Alright, so for here, as you can see, we can just use the same tactic and strategy as we used over here. We have to put an image widget over here and then wrap it with a clip or rect, so we can have that nice border radius around it. Alright, so we can just start by doing that, but before that, we actually need a column, because as you can see, these are in a shape of a column. Alright, so the first is the image, then the title, then the badges, and then the details. Alright, so let's put a column first in our scaffold, and then inside the column you can say the children. So the first child, as we saw, we need to actually have a stack widget. And why the stack widget? Because you can see that these are different widgets stacked on the top of each other. So first is the image, then is a row of items, then is actually another row of indicators. Alright, so we can just use stack widget here to create what we need. So let me set a stack widget over here, then define the children, and the first child we can use the image.asset, and then for example we can use one of the pictures we have. We can just use the same picture as we used for our card, but let's just use another picture for here. So assets image and house underline, for example 3 we can use JPG, and let me save that to see how it has been. And alright, let's see how it's now. Okay, we have the picture over here, and this is the picture for the house, and let's give it the height it needs. Then actually first let's just wrap it with a clip rect widget. So wrap it with widget, the widget is clip rect, and then inside it we can set a border radius. So border radius alright, and then next we can actually wrap this with a size box. So size box is over here, and before that we can just get the width and the height of the device by using media query. So media query.of context.size.width is how you can get the width of the device, whatever device it is, and then this is how you can take in the height of the device. Alright, so first we need to pass in the width of the device to it, because you can see that it is attached to its parent, but I know it has a padding which we are going to create it in a moment. But before all of that we just have to set the width to be equal to the width of the screen, and then the height, for example we can see that it is kind of the half of the screen, so we can just go height times 0.5. Alright, so that is gonna be the height of it, and I guess we just before that let me format the code so everything is visible. Alright, so let's just see what we did. So our picture is here, but you can see the borders are not rendered, and the width actually is good and the height is good, but we need to change the fit value for our picture. So we need to say fit and use the box fit, and I guess we can use fit height. Yep, fit height is the thing we need, and you can see the height is actually the same value, but for creating that padding we can actually see that everything in here has that padding. Alright, so we can just wrap the column with a padding widget. So let's just say padding, and we can use the 10 because we have used 10 for our previous pages as well. And yeah, as you can see we have that nice distance from borders. Alright, so we need to bring in these two containers because as you can see these are just the same. The color of the icons are just a bit different, but the whole thing is the same, and we can just bring in the price tag from here so we can actually be more quick. Alright, let's go to the home page, the start, and the first thing we need is to go up here, and we can just take in this container, if I'm not wrong. No. Alright, so this is alright, we can take this container and we can actually take the whole row over here. Alright, let me see where this ends. Alright, I guess we can just, yep, alright, so we can take in the whole row and take it over here. So as we said, to stack two widgets on top of each other after your main widget, you need to use positioned widget. Alright, so positioned, yep, it is over here, and the child is going to be a row. I just paste it over here, so I hope you guys understand what we did over here. So if I save it, we need to see, yep, we're seeing this, and so what we need to do is to use the positioned widget and define a top value. So we set the top value, if you use it, it actually creates a distance. So yeah, it created the distance. Maybe we can even go for more, like 30. But let me change the colors here. So we need to use white for this, and we need to use the white for our icons as well. So colors white, and for the text as well. So white it is gonna be, but the texts are gonna change just so we can see it better. And here the color is gonna be colors.white, and here as well. All right. So now everything is white. You can see that we use the top value, but now the width is ruined. So the thing you need to do is to just define left and right to be 0, and then you're good to go. Because you're defining that there's no distance needed for the left and the right, but we actually need it. So we can just define something for them as well. For example, if we go for 10, yeah, we can have that value. We can even go for 15. So 15 it is. Yeah, 15 is more better. And the icons itself are good, but we can change them. So the first icon, which is a menu, should be, I guess, arrow back. Yep. And that is our icon. And we can use let me see, icons favorite for the height. Alright, so I guess it should be favorite outline. Yep, and the heart is there. And for example, let's say we want to use this back button to actually be a back button. So you just need to wrap this container with a gesture detector, as you already know. So gesture detector, and for the ontap value, you can just use navigator.pop and context, and it sends you back to the last widget you were in. So if I click on it, you can see that it sends us back to the homepage widget, and if I click on it again, we are here. Alright, so the icons are there, the icons are working, and just let's bring in the price tag. So the price tag should be somewhere, and yep, there it is. So container and the rich text, we actually need the whole thing, because the container is the background color and all of that border. So instead of using this column over here as the second child, we replace it with the container and the rich text. And as you can see, the price tag is over there, and we are kind of done. We can actually need to increase the top over here. For example, if I go for 14, because we need to have the distance from the border radiuses, and yep, that is cool. And maybe increase this to be 20, just to be more accurate and more close to the design we have over here. Yep, and the price tag and everything else is good. Just let's go and create these indicators. So for creating them, actually, if you use a carousel or image slider package, those are pre-built in, so you just have to change the colors if you want, or change the shapes. Some of them you can just use rectangles with border radiuses, or just straight circles. But for here, I just want to create them. You can actually use some widgets inside the Flutter to create one image slider for yourself without using any package. Maybe one day I create one video for it, but not for now. So I just want to show you how you can create these indicators. So if you had that plan in your mind, you are good to go. Alright, so after the position widget, we need to create another position widget, and the child for it is going to be another row, because you can see those are placed in a row. Alright, and the children of that row are going to be containers, different containers, and you can just check if one container is activated. For example, the image index and the container index are the same, you can change the value of its design and the decoration over here. But here we just want to create the first one to be active, and the rest are in the default state. Alright, so in the row we are, and let's create one container. Alright, and we can actually define some width. For example, I can say the width can be 15 and the height can be 15, because we need an equal circle. And we can define, go inside the decoration and use the box decoration. So the color is gonna be, I guess it is not white, maybe a bright gray. So let's go colors dot gray, and let's see the gray itself. We can maybe actually use a brighter shade. For example, we can go with 300 maybe. Yeah, a bit brighter. Alright, and then we need to declare the shape. The shape is box shape dot circle, and let me save it. Alright, we can. Alright, it's here, it's up there. Maybe we can actually change the picture over here, because the picture itself is a bit bright, so we are not able to see what we have over here. Alright, so let me change the picture, house underline 2. Yep, maybe this one is better, I don't know. But we can see that here is a bit dark, so we can see those indicators. Alright, so we need to actually bring them to the bottom. So if I declare a distance from the bottom, for example, if I say 20, and if I save my code, you can see that those come over here, and I guess it is good. Yeah, I can see that them being here is good. And then we need to define left and right value. For example, 20, let's see, 20 is good. Alright, yeah, 20 maybe can be good, but we can just say we want main axis alignment to be main axis alignment dot center. So they come over here in the center, no matter how much the distance we have from the sides. We just bring them to the center, and we have created one of these indicators. We can actually give them the height and the width of 10. So let's see. Yeah, 10 is more better. And I can just copy paste the container over and over. For example, how much we needed. We have 5 over this, so I create 4, and those are over here. But you can see that they are attached to each other, so we need a bit of distance. We can just use size box, but I just want to give them a bit of a margin, which is gonna be margin right. Yep. So edge insets dot only, which is gonna be right, or maybe we can actually say left. Yeah, let's just use left, and 5. So I have to copy it for all of them. And the last one, and I save my code, and yep, maybe we can actually go for 10. So I click them all. By holding Alt, you can actually type in multiple places. Alright, so let's see 10. Yeah, 10 is good. And then we need one active one. Alright. So for the active one, we actually need a border. So let me format the code. And the bug, and actually the container itself needs to be a bit bigger. I guess it's the double height and width. And alright, and the color needs to be black. And we need to have a border. So border dot all, and the color is gonna be, for example, we can use the same gray color over here. Alright, let's see. This is the gray color we can use for here, and color cannot be assigned. Alright, let me see. So this is the colors, gray. Maybe the fact that I am using, let me see if I remove this. Alright, now we're good. Alright, we could have just used exclamation mark. This is just gonna say this cannot be null, and it checks it. If it's not null, then uses it. Alright, let me save the code, and yep, as you can see, we have that over here. We maybe could have just gone with 18 or something. No, it didn't need to be that big. And the border radius is actually there. If you cannot see, maybe I can just zoom in for you. Yep, the border radius is there. I'm sorry, the border is there, and we're good to go actually. And yep, this is how you can create some indicators for your image slider. And we are done with this part. So for the next part, we can actually go and use these again, because why not? We are programmers, we are smart ones. All right. So we actually can just come over here and use the column for here. So this is the column we can use. Alright, I guess I copied it, and we have to go outside the stack widget. Alright, let's see. We go outside the stack widget, we place the size box, and for example the height can be 20, I guess. Paste it, and yep, we have those informations and datas. Alright, so we can see the text over here is a bit bigger than this, so we can just increase them. So this can be 27, and let me bring in the emulator. 27. Yeah, that is good. That is good actually. Alright, and we need to have a bit more of a distance over here. So for example, I can just wrap the column with padding, and the padding, for example, I can just say only, because we just need it from the left, and 8 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we can just maybe go with 10 or 12. Let's try 12. Alright, maybe more, maybe 15, let's say. Yeah, 15 is better. You know, we can just, because we don't have the design file, we don't know the exact values, but we just go with our eyes, I guess this is good for here. Yep. And the location for it, I guess the location is all good, because even here we can just see that both of them are in the same values, size wise and font sizes and everything. Those look the same. Alright, so we can just get going with that, and we can move on to the next part outside the padding widget, because the padding is the thing that is wrapping around the whole thing. And we can just go outside of it and create these badges. And as I said in the previous video and in the previous part, for here you actually have to create a widget for it and a component, so you can just use that component in several places and as many times as you want. And in here you can just go and create a widget for these badges, and you can just call that widget class. Then for example change the icon and change the value. But in here I'm just gonna be coding them right away inside the file, and that is not a good practice for you. I'm just demonstrating how you can create a design like this in your application. I'm just not gonna spend time on those structures. Alright, but I just let you know that that is how you should do it in a real project. Alright, so after the padding widget, we actually need to have single child scroll view. So let's just set that single child scroll view, because you can see that these this over here can be scrolled. Alright, so single child scroll view, and we come over here, we set the child to be, for example, row, I guess. Yeah, row is the best choice. Alright, and the children we have, and each child is going to be a container, which is a badge. Alright, so container first is going to be our container. Let me zoom in a bit so we can see the details. Alright, I can see that there is no border radius needed in here, so we just have to set the decoration. Alright, let me format the code a bit. Alright, so decoration is a box decoration widget. The color can be the gray color we said earlier. Alright, so colors.gray, and for example 400. Yeah, maybe 400 is good, maybe not. We just check. We can just check on that later when we are done with the badge. And so that is our color, and maybe we can actually set padding for it, and as well as a margin. Alright, so padding is gonna be edge insets dot all, or maybe symmetric, because I can see the horizontal and vertical paddings are different. So horizontal. Alright, let's see what the AI has given us. Alright, and as the child for our container we need another row, so child is going to be another row of first one is going to be an icon widget. Alright, so icons that I don't think that we can have something as bad, but we can have something like, yep, we have something like that. Alright, so icons.hotel gives you a bed. Not a bed, you know, a person lying in the bed, but you know, that's the closest thing we can have to this. And the color can stay black because we know the default color for the icons are black. If you haven't changed the theme data of your application, then we need to have a text next to it, but not next to it. We can actually have the size box before it. So the size box width is, for example, going to be 5, and then after the size box we can have that text widget. So the text widget is going to say 3. Oh, let's see where we are gone. Okay, so 3 beds, and then we have to change the style a bit. So let's use the text style. The color can be colors.gray without changing its shade. All right, and then the font size, maybe we can actually go with font size 14, and let me close the part. All right, let's just see how it looks. We can actually have a brighter background color, for example 200. Yeah, maybe even, you know, 100 shade. Why not? Yeah, 100 is good. Or maybe let's just use a black color. Let's see how it is. So black 12 is the brightest one. Not the black one. All right, so let's just go back to the gray. All right, and 100. Let's go with 200. Yeah, we can just use the same exact color code in here, but we're just going to use, you know, these fixed colors over here. All right, and yeah, that is good. Yeah. All right, maybe if we have hotel outlined. Oh, we have it. All right, so now that is more better because the icons are not field icons. All right, that is the bed, that is the text. We can increase the size in here. So for example 10 be the distance. Yep, and those paddings are actually looking good. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. And we can just pass in a size box before that single child scroll wheel, so we have a distance from the top widget. Alright, so for example for here we can use 20, and don't forget to put the comma in here. Yep, 20 is good as well. And we can wrap this single child scroll wheel with a padding. So the padding is going to be only again, and let's say left, and to be 15. I guess it needs to be the same value as the widgets above it. So padding 15 is over here as well. Alright, yep, and now we have the badge. Maybe we can actually make the text to be a bit darker. So for example, gray 700. Alright, again, it's invalid constant value, so let's just use a black color. So for example, black 26, 38. Alright, 45 it is. Yeah, 45 is good, maybe 54. Yeah, 54 is more visible and more better. Alright, we can even actually increase the font size of it. For example, 16 if we say. Yeah, and then the size of the icon itself, so we can just say size is equal to 16. Alright, that is so small, so let's go for second fit 20. Or even more, let's say 28. Oh yeah, we can actually have a larger icon than our text, and that is actually looking good over here. So as we said, we just have to copy paste the container, but before that don't forget to pass in the margin, because you can see that the distance over here is the same for them. So for example, we can say margin, and I just want to use edge insets dot only and right now, because we don't want it to have another margin from the left because it ruins the design. So we can just set, alright, so now let's have the margin from the right, so all of them would have that distance from the right. And alright, so let's say width, for example, times 0.01 or 2. I don't know if it's but let's just copy paste the container. So this is the first container, this is gonna be the second page. Let's just see. Alright, maybe I could have just said 3. Alright, let's see how the 3 is. Maybe 4. Yeah, 4 is more better. Alright, so let's just go with the 4. And the second badge, for example, can says 2 bath. Sorry. And for the bath, I don't know what we can use. For example, do we have? Oh, we did have bed. Alright. I didn't know. Oh, we did have it. Alright, so let's just change it. So let's say bed outlined. And let's see it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that we have that, something like that. So for example, let's check if we have bath. Alright. Oh, we have bathroom and we have, oh my god, I really didn't know that. Okay, so the icons we have here are the material design icons, and we have that. Alright. That is kind of nice. That is kind of nice. I actually was thinking before recording the video what icons I'm gonna use, and I just said, you know, let's just go on and see what we have. But I'm happy that we have actually these over here. Alright, now what we have over here, we actually should declare that we want the scroll direction to be axis horizontal. So we have the default is axis vertical, so it's a scroll like this, but in here we need it to be horizontal. Alright, and as you can see, we have the scroll over here, and this one should says, for example, 240, I guess it's mm, yep. And for example, for this we can say we do have kitchen. Oh my god. Why do? Alright, that is kind of nice. That is kind of nice. Alright, and as for the icons over there, we can just use zoom out and outline. Yep. So let's just see, and yeah, this is our icons for here. So let's go and get to this part. Alright, so for the next part, as you can see, the details can kind of go a bit longer and can cause overflow in our page. So we actually need to make the whole page to be scrollable as well. So we just need to wrap the column with the single child scroll wheel widget, which is what I'm gonna do, single child scroll wheel, and then we are good to go. And nothing actually changes because we are not overflowing anything, but we are just making sure that if we do, we are good. Alright, so outside of our padding widget, we can actually have another size box. Yep, and the width can be the height can be 20, and if I save it, alright, and so we need a text. We can actually have a column, so it's a text and then another text widget to show the details. Alright, so let's just make the use of a column widget. So let's say column and then the children, and before the children we need to make the cross-axis alignment to be cross-axis alignment start. Alright, cross-axis alignment dot start. Let me bring my emulator, let me just close it for now. Alright, and we need to have a text widget. So the text should say details, and the style, we can say the text style, and the color can be colors.black, and the font size, maybe we can go for 16 or 18. The font weight can be bold, and the font size is going to be, let's go with 18. Alright, let me format the code. And let me see what we have. Alright, the details is there, and the cross-axis alignment didn't change. Why is that? Let me maybe I had set text align to be text align start or left. Alright, so for here I guess we need to wrap our column with a size box. Maybe something is changing its value to not be. Yeah, that is what we had to do. Alright, so I guess the thing that was happening was the column was not taking the whole size over here. Maybe there was another way to do that, but let's just go with the size box. And instead of a size box, we can change it to be a container. Let me see, container. So we can have that padding as well. So the padding is gonna be edge insets. Is that gonna be the whole thing? Yep. We can go for symmetric and horizontal, and let's say width. Yep, that is the thing we actually need. And the details is there. And for the text of the details, I'm just gonna be using lorem ipsum. So because the text can be anything, but this is just a demo. So for that, I'm just gonna be using lorem ipsum. So the actually there is an extension for it in VSCode, which is called lorem ipsum. So by pressing Ctrl Shift P, if you're on Windows, and I guess it is Command Shift P on Mac, I don't know really, but I guess it's kind of a system like that. So just you just want to open up the panel over there, and if you don't see those commands, you can just type in the by typing this character, you can just see all the commands you have. So the commands we need is lorem ipsum insert a paragraph. And alright, we were in the wrong place, so you need to be inside here. And let me do that again. So lorem ipsum insert a paragraph, and as you can see, we have that over here. So let's just format the code. We actually don't need to see all of that. And let's see how the text is. Yep, maybe we can actually do it one more time to actually have a longer text, so we can have that scroll effect as well. So insert a paragraph for the second time, and yeah, there it is. And you can see that we have that scroll. Alright, and the style of it can be changed. So text style is gonna be equal, for example, let's say font size can be 18 as well. Yeah, 18. And we can have a size box over here to just have a bit of distance. So height is gonna be 15. Alright, let's save the code. And yep, I don't think that we need to change the color. I guess the color is good. We actually can increase this a bit. So for example, this can be 30 even. Yep, or maybe let's go with a higher value. I don't know. Yep, maybe let's go with a higher value. So let's say 35. And we can decrease this a bit. So let's be 10 for that. Yep. And everything else I guess is good. And we can just get down to this part. Alright, so for this part, you can see that it kind of needs a, let me close that. It kind of needs a border around it and a container, let's say, which the color of that container is, maybe we can use a gradient, or maybe we can just set a fixed color. I guess if we set a fixed color, this can be good because the transparency over there is the same as the transparency over here. So I guess we can just use a fixed color, but maybe if the transparency over here was lesser than the thing over here, we could have just used a linear gradient. So the first value, or the first value if you set is over here, so the first value can be a white color with a transparency of 10, let's say, and the second one can be a bit more, for example 50%, 40%, or 30%. Alright, so I just wanted to demonstrate that. And to create one of them, we can actually go outside, or no. Alright, so for this part, we actually need to wrap the whole column in a stack widget. So let's say, yep, the column is here. Wrap it with a column again, because and change it to stack, because that is the closest widget shortcut that you have got over here. The stack, the column, the row, all of them uses the children as their values. And all right, and we have in the stack, and this is the last column we had. And let's use a positioned widget for it. So it needs to be a container and a decoration. So for the decoration, we can just set box decoration, and we can go for the colors, not black. It needs to be, all right, it needs to be white, that with alpha or transparency. We can actually go with alpha. All right, and alpha is a number in a range of from 0 to 255. So for example, if I say 50, this can be invoked in a constant. All right, so we clear out that constant, and we have it over here. We can give it a height value. So the height can be height times 2, and the width, let me zoom in, sorry. All right, and the width can be the width of the screen, and we have it over here. And we just need to bring it to the bottom. So bottom is 0, and don't forget to set left and the right to be 0, so we won't see any changes over there. And okay, nothing is shown because nothing is inside, or maybe there is another reason. Let's just now put the child inside, and we can actually debug that if there's any error or anything that is not working. All right, so for the child, we can use a row widget, and then inside the row we need to have 2 containers, and the first container is going to be for the male icon. And we actually, let me actually take the easy way and the shortcut and bring in these containers because they're looking the same, and we just need to change the background of it. All right, so this is the container. All right, let's go down, let's go over here, and the container for this, let's change that. And all right, and instead of a border, or let me see, yep, instead of a border, we can just set the color is equal to colors dot blue, and with the darker shade, for example, let's go with 600. I don't know, let's see. Okay, it's not shown, and let's see why. So we are inside the position. So if I remove those, let's see. Nothing is shown again. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, I can see what is happening over here. All right. So because the single child scroll view is actually, we placed the stack in a wrong place. So let me just actually cut this code. You can actually guess what is happening over here. The stack is inside the single child scroll view, so it goes all the way down to here where the widgets are ended, and we actually had to wrap the single child scroll view with the stack widget. So the actually scroll happens behind these items over here, and yeah, I just had the mistake. I actually, when I was writing the code, I was kind of in doubt if I was doing the right thing, but okay, no matter. Over here we can just quickly change it to stack, and we actually removed the stack which was wrapping the column widget, and we brought it to wrap the single child scroll view, and we can just go down. And over here, after the single child scroll view, we can actually set that positioned item we had, and yeah, as you can see, it is over there. It just needs to have the bottom to be, for example, let's say 50. It's over there, and Okay, the height is actually so less. Yeah, that is my bad order. All right, and this can be 0. And let's see what else. So the color over here is not actually there. For example, 150. Yeah, 150 is more better, but the height is a lot. So maybe we can change it to 15. And let's go for 12. Yeah, 12 is more better. Yeah, and we can actually increase this a bit. So for example, 180. Or even more, 200. Yeah, 200 is the last thing I want to set over here. Alright, so we can increase the size of the container by increasing the padding. So for example 10, let's go for 15, and yeah, 15 is good. And we can increase the border radius to be 15 as well. Yep, and then the icon needs to be male, I guess. Yep, male outline. Let me see what is happening. Alright, so let's say male, and so male outline. Yep, and the color can stay the same as white, and we can actually set a padding for it. We don't have any padding, or maybe let's just actually use the positioned widget to do those. So let's say left is equal to 10. Maybe 15, and the right is the same thing. So yeah, we are good to go over there. And this button over here, so I just wanted to use this button over here because they look kind of the same. So let's just bring that over here. Yeah, over here, and container, copy the container and bring it here. So inside the row after the container, and we set that, and the button is over there, but something is happening over here. So we have a margin, which is a huge margin. So if I remove that, yep, we are over there, and I have to set for example, let's see what is happening over here. Alright, so first let's just change the text. So say book now, and the border radius, let me see, 15 is allowed. We set to be 15, not 50. Alright, and something else is off again. So we are inside the row, we are inside the container. Alright, and let me set a size box for it. So size box is equal to width, let's say again 15, and we need to wrap the container with the expanded widget. So it expands and fills the rest of the row, and yep, like that. And let's just change the height. So the height can be, or let's do the same thing we did over here. So the vertical, let's just set the vertical to be 10. Alright, nothing changed. I'm wondering why. So let's say if not 10, let's say 5. Alright, it's not changing. So maybe I had to say the height. I want the height to be let's say height times 0.08, 0.06, 0.07, yep, or maybe 68 or something like that. Yeah, we could have just used the same thing over here. So let's say I want the height to be that, so we have the same height for both of them. And yeah, just like that, I mean, we have everything. The text behind it actually scrolls. We can just set something over here. Alright, let me show you how we can do it. So after the text, we know that the position item is gonna come above it. All right, so for that you can just do two things. So you can just set, if the user starts scrolling, you can just remove this part, or if you can just set a margin for your container. So margin only from the bottom, and let's see, we actually have set a height, so you can just use this height and bring it over here and set it, remove that, and you have the exact margin from the bottom as it is the size of your position item widget. And you can see there's no text behind it, and all of that is readable. And we have the image slider over here. So the image slider, as I said, there are a ton of image slider packages you can even make your own, and I just didn't want to make a tutorial on that in this design, so I just wanted to show you how you can create all of this in one part. So if I restart my application to show you what we did, we created the first page, and alright, we wait for the application. Alright, here we are. We designed the first page and the image is not loaded. Okay, the image is here. We have the buttons. If I click on the register, it brings me to the next page. So on the next page we have the image banner, which is again not loaded. Alright, it is there. And we have the house cards, and if I click on the house cards, you see that it brings me to the house showcase page, and we have all the informations. The scrolls are working, the badges are over here, we can actually add to it. I just didn't know what is next, so I just left it to be 3 items, and yeah, we are done. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope this was a good tutorial for you. This was our first long tutorial series, and if you enjoyed it, just let me know in the comments what you want to see next. If you have any design that you want to see, for example, a famous app, Instagram, Twitter, or not Twitter, you know, it's X here. And yeah, if you like our tutorial, please consider hitting the subscribe button, because it's the best support you can show us. Thanks for watching and happy coding, guys.